South Korea plane crash. Investigations into cause of Jeju Air accident begin. Live updates. The cause of Sunday's crash is still unclear. Officials have pointed to a bird strike as a likely reason for the tragedy. A warning of a bird strike was issued by the control tower minutes before the crash, however. Experts who have reviewed footage of the disaster, showing the plane making an emergency landing but then hitting a wall, have questioned whether airport construction could have played a part. Normally, at the end of a runway, there's no such solid obstruction. It's against international aviation safety standards, he said. The structure in question caused the aircraft to crash and catch fire. Outside the airport, there are usually just fences, which are soft and wouldn't cause significant damage. The plane could have skidded further and stopped naturally. The unnecessary structure is highly regrettable. AFP has spoken to Kim Kwon-il, professor of aeronautical science at Silla University and a former pilot, who said there shouldn't have a solid structure in that area at all. Reuters has spoken to John J. Young, 71, whose daughter Misuk was among the 179 people killed in Sunday's crash. He keeps playing the video of the disaster, unable to believe what has happened. He says, "When I saw the accident video, the plane seemed out of control," said John. "The pilots probably had no choice but to do it. My daughter, who was only in her mid-40s, ended up like this. This is unbelievable." Misuk was a warm-hearted child, he said. She brought some food and next year's calendar to his house on December 21st. His last brief moment with her. Authorities called out the names of some of those killed in the crash on Sunday, triggering an explosion of grief and rage among the passengers' families gathered in the airport's arrival area. They screamed, wept, and collapsed on the floor of the terminal where their loved ones had been due to return home. Crime scene investigators have collected saliva swabs from families to run DNA tests to identify the victims. John's daughter had been on her way home after traveling with friends to Bangkok for the Christmas holiday. She leaves behind a devastated family, including a husband and teenage daughter. The water near the airport is not deep. Here are softer fields than this cement runway. Why couldn't the pilot land there instead? John said. Misuk was identified by her fingerprints, and her family is looking for a funeral home near her town of Gwangju to transport her body there. She was almost home. So, she saw no need to call the family to leave any final message. She thought she was coming home, John said. All eyes on the mid-table. The first half of the English Premier League has come to an end. Liverpool is at the top with a 6-point gap. On the other side of the coin, Southampton is at the bottom of the table with 6 points. The mid-table battle has become more spectacular than the title fight. How is everyone's preparation before starting the second half of the Premier League? Let's take a look. Christmas and New Year have all turned into dust for Pep Guardiola. Only one win in the last 13 matches. Position at number 7 in the points table. He has never seen such a bad day in his coaching career. He has stumbled a little, but he has managed it. But this is not a stumble, but a direct fall into the abyss. However, there is one thing to hope for. The City family's trust in Pep Guardiola has not diminished at all. That is why he is still confident about his job. But it is difficult to say how much peace he can have if the situation cannot improve. The same is true for Leicester City coach Ruud van Nistelrooy. He took charge of the Foxes with high hopes, but his team is in the relegation zone after losing 3 consecutive matches. 1 win in the last 5 matches. If the situation cannot improve quickly, the season may not even be completed. Southampton did not start well under his new coach. The Croatian coach's journey began with a loss to West Ham. However, Southampton, who are at the bottom of the table with only 1 win, still have a chance to survive. The match against Crystal Palace could be their stepping stone to the top. On the other hand, Palace's situation is not very good either. They have barely escaped the relegation battle of the Premier League. They certainly do not want to go back to that list again. They have no chance of slipping away from Southampton. If someone calls Everton coach Sean Dyche a Kingslayer, he will not mind much. They have blocked 3 teams in 3 consecutive matches. After Arsenal, Chelsea, and City, their next opponent is Nottingham Forest. Everton will appear as a worry on the forehead of Forest, who are fighting for the Champions League. Everton's defense has broken only once in the last 4 matches. Forest will have to do something special to beat Everton, who are in great form. If they want to survive in the Champions League fight, they cannot afford to lose points. Fulham broke a 45-year record and snatched victory from Chelsea's field. To say that they are in a good mood would be an understatement. Marco Silva's disciples are now at the peak of Jupiter. The match against Bournemouth is their stepping stone to climb up. There is no alternative to winning in this match to get a chance in Europe. The same is true for Bournemouth. They have been knocked out of the European fight by drawing in the last match. All in all, if you don't play careful football, you have a chance to slip up. Wolves have had a great start under the new coach. They have already moved out of the relegation zone with 2 consecutive wins. Now the goal is to move as far away from the fear of relegation as possible. And when the opponent is Tottenham, who is in off form, then you can expect a little. Tottenham is having a pretty bad season. Amy Postecoglou can't find the right combination for the team. He is unable to organize the team as he wants due to the loss of important players due to injuries. But football doesn't stop. If the results don't change quickly, he may also have to be cut down by Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy, like his predecessors. Liverpool is increasing the gap with the rest of the teams as the match progresses. With 1 match left, their gap with the second position is 6 points. Arne Slot's disciples are in a good mood with their excellent form on and off the field. On the other hand, West Ham got a hard-earned victory against Southampton in the last match. They are also in the mid-table battle. They have 2 chances, Europe or relegation. They will try their best to surprise Liverpool. Aston Villa has had a Boxing Day to forget. For the 4th year in a row, they have conceded 3 goals on Boxing Day. There is still a debate about the red card given to the team striker John Duran in that match. Coach Unai Emery has put all the blame on referee Anthony Taylor. They have to play without John Duran against Brighton. Brighton is also not in great form. They drew goalless in the last match. The 2 teams, who are in the same position on the points table, have a chance to overtake each other. Chelsea has fallen far behind in the title race after stumbling in 2 consecutive matches, where they had a chance to touch Liverpool before Christmas. They are now 7 points behind. The Blues lost their 45-year unbeaten record in the last match against Fulham. All in all, things are not going well for Chelsea. Chelsea are getting an opportunity to come back from their opponents in Ipswich Town. If they don't use it, it will be impossible for them to survive in the title race. As the days go by, Ruben Amorim seems to be falling apart. Far from adapting to his tactics, the whole United feels like a shadow of themselves. Rashford has not been with the team for a few weeks. Bruno Fernandes was banned after seeing a red card in the last match. All in all, Amorim is in a bad state. Newcastle is in a pretty good position from that point of view. They are in 5th place in the points table with consecutive wins. If they can maintain their form, it will be a matter of time before the United Derby. Arsenal have returned to the league fight with 2 consecutive wins. They have moved up to 2nd place in the table, overtaking city rivals Chelsea. They have no choice but to win if they want to stay in the fight. On the other hand, Brentford are in a lot of trouble after losing their regular goalkeeper Mark Flecken. They will have to rely on young goalkeeper Håkan Valsamerson. They also have no chance to stumble in the hustle and bustle of mid-table. No one wants to start the new year with a stumble.